Hello everyone, welcome to Legacy IAS. So today we'll be dealing with another topic from Conceptual Science and Tech series. Okay, now see, today our topic is weight loss drugs. Okay, a lot in news. Okay, you might have seen many celebrities losing a lot of weight suddenly, and people are claiming that they may be because of something getting very famous called Ozempic. Okay, as Ozempic, Wegovy. So all these are companies of weight loss drugs. Now we'll be understanding what are these weight loss drugs, how do they work, everything about it. Okay, might have seen Karan Johar suddenly losing a lot of weight. Okay, so some people are saying that this sudden loss of weight is because of these drugs. Of course, right now there is not much social acceptability with respect to weight loss drugs, even though WHO and all these agencies have approved it, but there is not much social sanction to it. That's why people are hiding. They're saying that I'm spending a lot of time in the gym and this and that. Okay, now let's see. So first of all, first thing that we need to understand is what are these drugs. Okay, and first we'll understand how it works normally in our body. Some hormone they may be replacing some function that is there in a healthy person. Correct, in a healthy person it works well. Now that thing is not working well in that person who is obese or fat. Now what changes can we make from the outside using some drug or whatever, that we'll understand. So first we'll understand what is that hormone that is working well in a healthy person but not in an unhealthy or fat person. Okay, now let's see weight loss drugs. So these are the name of the drugs: Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. Now they are scientifically, like in scientific journals and all, they won't be called weight loss drugs. Of course, they are usually called glucagon like peptide 1, GLP-1 drugs. They are called GLP-1 drugs. Now first we'll understand how does normal digestion works in our body. Okay, then we'll understand how these medicines are made. So one thing you might have heard of, that these were originally made for diabetes patient. Okay, people who had diabetes. Now you'll understand what happens in diabetes. Blood sugar level rises and the insulin is a hormone that controls it in your body, that is not able to control it. Okay, because it is enough quantity. Diabetes, let's see. Correct, well, you eat. Now carbs is broken down into glucose. Correct, most of the things that you eat eventually will get broken down into glucose. Now once they are broken down into glucose, glucose is also sugar. Glucose and sugar is same for us. Okay, so glucose, it gets broken down into glucose or sugar. Okay, sugar, not the one that you think of, that is white sugar that you are eating. That is just one type of it. Sugar here means in scientific terms simply glucose. Okay, now this glucose will enter the bloodstream. Correct, that is what happens in our body, that whatever food is there, that gets digested into glucose, and then glucose enters our bloodstream. Now in our blood, after entering blood, you have a lot of sugar in the blood. Because this glucose is getting dissolved, that is just after I eat, amount of blood will increase. Correct, so amount of blood sugar will increase drastically just after I eat, because now my body has a lot of glucose. Now you or your body do not want that much sugar or glucose in your blood. Correct, so body needs to move this extra sugar to the cells where it will be needed. Every cell needs nutrition, and this nutrition sugars. Now what body wants? Body wants that sugar that is dissolved in the bloodstream should instead go inside the cells. Okay, should not remain in the blood. Otherwise it can cause many organ related issues, organ failures and all, everything can be caused if there is such high amount of sugar in the blood. That is why, now this is what happens in people having diabetes. That's why they immediately take medicine, or before eating only they take medicine, so that this blood sugar level is maintained. Now, how does it get maintained? So body needs to move this extra sugar from bloodstream to the cells. Now, here comes an important role of a hormone called insulin. So insulin is then produced by pancreas. When glucose is there in the body, blood sugar level increases, body start releasing insulin from the pancreas. Now insulin is a particular hormone. Now what insulin does, understand this. So insulin binds to the cell and tells them to open up and take in glucose. So what insulin will do? Insulin will go to all these cells and will bind to the cell and force it to get opened. Opened as in to take in glucose. Now if all cells, because of insulin binding to them, starts opening up, taking in sugar, then what will happen? Eventually the blood sugar level will decrease. Blood sugar level goes down to the normal. Correct? Because all the glucose, most of the glucose that was extra is now getting absorbed by the cells. Now cell will of course use those cells for different things. For example, cell does its own respiration, it does its own reproduction. All these things cell will do on its own. If you remember structure of cell, it had mitochondria also, it had everything, correct? It is a self-sustaining unit. So it will use all this energy. Understood? Now, why were these medicines made? So these medicines originally were made for this part. That is, your body in case of diabetes was not releasing enough quantity of insulin. So these receptors for these medicines usually came for diabetes so that this part is managed. Okay, now what they discovered, because of some false use, or we don't know how people discovered it, but the thing is they discovered that if I don't have diabetes, I'm just fat. This is my only problem. Now they observed that using these can be done to actually lose weight. Okay, now they don't have diabetes, they just want to lose weight. Now first let's understand what is this GLP-1 hormone that is being released by our body. Now GLP-1, as you know, GLP-1 is not the common name, the scientific name that we are using for these drugs. Now GLP-1 is a hormone that is released by our intestine. Now why this hormone is important, understand here. So GLP-1 has actually three functions. First is it tells the pancreas that this is the time to release insulin. Okay, this is very important, as you understood that insulin is required to maintain the blood sugar level. Eventually when blood sugar level in your blood increases, insulin has to be released. Now who gives instruction to the pancreas to release insulin? So that is done by these GLP-1 hormones. This is the first and most important functions. Then there is another function that it has. It also slows down the stomach emptying. That is, for example, when you eat, okay, you start feeling full, but the nutrition is mostly absorbed by your body, but you don't immediately release it in the washroom, correct? So stomach emptying is slowed down actually. So stomach emptying is slowed down also by this GLP-1. Now third and very important thing here is it tells the brain that you need to feel satiety or full. That is, it tells the brain or gives it a signal that I am feeling fit. So this is what GLP-1 hormone does. So these are the three functions. First is of course the most important one, that is release of insulin. Tell the insulin to be released by the pancreas. Now this is very important for people who have diabetes. Correct? People who have diabetes, this is the most important function of GLP-1. Correct? Now, but the other two, they observe that the other two functions can be used actually to lose weight. For example, what you want, if let's say just after having your lunch, you don't feel like eating anything. Why don't you feel like eating anything? Because your stomach is full. So now your stomach is full, now you're not consuming anything, correct? Now, if I can somehow artificially take this GLP-1, somehow, then what my body will do? My stomach will feel full and my brain will get signal that पेट भरा है, we don't need to eat right now. Correct? Now, this is what they used to make weight loss drugs. Now, understand. So, this is something that is made in our body originally or naturally. Now they made something called GLP-1 drugs. GLP-1 drugs are long-lasting copies of this hormone only. So, this hormone only, they are now making it in labs, the long-lasting copies of it. Originally, this hormone is very short-lived. Okay, it does its works and then goes away. Now here we are making long-lasting copies of this particular hormone. Now what will happen? Once your body gets this hormone, it will perform the same function as the GLP-1 hormone does originally. That is, you will start feeling full. Now, how do they do it for weight loss? What they will do, that they will take this dosage using syringes or anything, and they will take it in the morning. Now what will happen? I have this drug in the morning. Now I will feel less hungry because my stomach feels full. My brain is getting a signal that I have enough food in me. Now what will happen? I will feel less hungry. I will eat drastically less. Drastically less. Not like calorie deficit, 300, 400 calories less a day. Not like that. I am feeling full whole day. So I am eating drastically less. Eventually, if I am consuming so small calories and still surviving, what will happen? I will have rapid weight loss. Correct? So this is how it works. Basically, they identified that having this drug can make you feel very less hungry and you will eat less. Eventually, you will lose weight. Okay, now one disclaimer that I must give you is, as given by doctors, that doctors, WHO, all of these, that these should not be taken by overweight people. This should actually be taken by obese people. For example, I am overweight. I should not be taking this. Okay, because if I start taking it, I have other methods, the traditional ways also. Just some calorie deficit I have to create and I can do this. But for people who are facing obesity, who have a BMI greater than 30, now for them who are 150, 180 kgs, for them it is very difficult anyway. So what they need to do, they need to take this drug and eventually lose weight, because losing weight will help them become much more healthier in the long run. That will save them from many different kinds of diseases that they are already fighting because of obesity. So it may have side effects because this is a new invention. So we don't know if it will have side effects. But obesity also has a lot of apparent effects on your body. So if you are obese, then this can be a boon. If you are overweight, then because we are not very sure what will be the long-term impact, we should not take it. Now, one more thing I can tell you, that in March 2026, the patent of some of these semaglutide and all these compounds which are used to make GLP-1 hormones, GLP-1 drugs is getting ended in India. So now what will happen? There are many generic medicine or drug makers in India. They will start producing this. And when they start producing it, for example, Dr. Reddy's, Cipla, all these will start producing drugs of this same, because patent is going away, and then this will be available at a much cheaper price. So right now, that's why only celebrities have taken this, because they have to go outside India, get it administered, and also it costs a lot of money. But after March 2026, we may find it in our local like hospitals and all. We will also be finding the weight loss drugs. But again, I hope you don't need to take any of this weight loss drugs or anything. And if you are slightly overweight or fat, you lose it in the traditional way. Because right now it is coming, we don't know what may be the side effects in the future. Okay. So because of that, please take the traditional route only. Thank you.